You know, there's been quite a bit of focus the past week on Minneapolis, and a lot of the news, hadn't been that great. Of course, we remembered the anniversary of the death of George Floyd. But I read a story about a Christian whose name was Kathy. And Kathy is from Minneapolis. And in fact, she was a very successful stockbroker in Minneapolis. And young, too. And she lived in an apartment complex. And the apartment complex was a really nice complex, had a really nice pool. And she reported that she spent time at the pool nearly every day looking for the lost. She said she'd take her usual place in a Chase lounge, and then she'd be reading a book. And she said there'd always be an empty lounge chair right beside her. And eventually, someone would come and take a seat. And before long, she said, conversation would arise. And soon the two would become friends, talking about the book, talking about work, talking about life. And then Kathy said it's very natural to just slip right into talking about my faith and my church. And before long, I'd work in an invitation. Why don't you come with me to church Sunday? Let me pick you up. Let me take you. And if the person wasn't quite ready, she'd say, well, do me a favor. Why don't you go on my church's live stream on Sunday and watch it and tell me what you think, and we'll get back. I'll get back with you. You can tell me what you think about it. And she said, if the person had a positive experience, which I'm counting on and praying about, then I would say, well, then why don't you go with me next week and check it out in person? Her church was so impressed by her testimony that they decided to put her on the evangelism committee of the church. And they asked her, would you like to be on the evangelism committee of the church? And her response, I think, is classic. She said, why should I spend hours with other Christians in a meeting of all things when I can sit by the pool and represent Christ to those who may be lost? Pretty good point. Where is your place to search for the lost? Perhaps the most popular verse of hymn in all of Christendom is Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. May I leave you today in this message with two questions. How much do you really care about the lost? And what are you going to do about it?